Hey, what's going on, guys? This is BunnyMuffins. We have the patch 11.20 patch notes. This is going to be a bit of a weird patch because they're doing two pretty game-breaking changes that we'll see in just about a second. So in case you guys didn't know, first things first, the World Championship did happen, and Juan Mi won the final game with a very cool ribbon reroll comp. Doesn't happen that often, but, you know, in certain games you can play some of these comps, and that was really interesting to see. Before we continue on with the patch notes, I will be giving away 200 little legend eggs, so be sure to like the video, subscribe below, and leave a comment so I know how to contact you. And we will be announcing the winners in a week on October 11th, so be sure to check your notifications on that day. So let's get into the rest of the changes. So new feature, Tactician Scouting. This one's pretty fun. So you guys may have heard this before, but essentially after a brief delay, your little legend will now follow you to other players' boards, meaning that your little legend can interact with other ones. I'm really glad they put this one in because now all the little legends can be friends and whatever, and you could kind of like just do cool stuff. Maybe you could have like a party at everyone's board at the end of every round or something like that. So onto the system changes. This is where the big ones come in. 2 for the price of fun. All right, so all players now get a second Radiant Armory at stage 5-1, and it occurs in stage 7-3 if you are playing Hyper Roll. Ooh, speaking of Hyper Roll, I kind of want to do Tactician Scouting on the Hyper Roll map because everyone's just running around super fast, and most of the little legends do have very fun running animations, but this armory is going to change a lot. This means you get 2 Radiant items, which means you could do some crazy item combinations. For example, you can get a Radiant Warmogs with a Radiant Stoneplate. Radiant Stoneplate gives 3% regeneration per second or something like that, so that would be absolutely nuts in terms of the tank items. You could go IE Jeweled Gauntlet, both the Radiant versions. You could even get 2 of the same Radiant items, I'm guessing. Maybe like double Rage Blade. That'd be pretty cool. So let me know what cool combinations you guys can think of down in the comments below. But moving on to the next change, we have a change to the Radiant Blessing. This is a golden orb you receive when you are at 40 or below health. And chance of getting high quality drop is being increased from 10% to 18%. I'm kind of glad this happens. I like it when this helps people out a lot because I don't know about you guys, I was in a game yesterday. I got a Radiant Blessing really quickly because I was losing the entire early game, and then they gave me 1 item component that I did not need to use. So that felt pretty bad. So getting more high quality drops, always welcome. Very rare high quality drops of 8 item components is now being added at a 0.54 chance. And then they are doing another one with 3 Force of Nature's 0.18 chance. This one's going to make me so dizzy. Pretty much whenever you get a lot of Force of Natures, what you want to do is roll down and get a lot of 2 stars very quickly. You don't want to like go ahead and level up. You essentially just need quality units to put on the board. So if you do get this in the 0.18% of games, you need to have a lot of 2 stars. So do keep that in mind. Another thing you can consider is going for the 9 synergy traits, such as 9 redeemed or something like that, because those traits are normally very hard to get because you need to reach level 9, and level 9 is super expensive, but with 3 Force of Natures, you could reach that pretty easily. Next one they added is 2 Nico's Help and 20 gold. This is just like a standard good draw because you can pretty much complete a lot of guys on your team. This is going to help a lot of the 3-star comps or the legendary comps. So now onto the large changes. Large like my love for you. All right, so we are buffing high roll econ trait, similar to how we buff Fortune at the end of Fates while nerfing some overperformers. Traits like Skirmisher and Abomination are still waiting for their time to shine in Dawn of Heroes, even if that time is during the Dusk of Heroes. So Skirmisher definitely needs like a buff. Abominations, they're used, but they're really only used because the units that they complement are broken. The actual Abomination trait wasn't that strong except for the very beginning of set 5 when people did ZZ Rot spam, but they are buffing the attack damage from 70, 80, and 100 to 70, 90, and 110. And then the attack damage for level scaling is being changed from 7, 8, 10 to 7, 9, 11. So that should help them a tiny bit. Draconic 4-turn egg chance is now being increased from 2 to 4%. Average gold value of the egg is 2.9 to 3.1. 5-turn egg chance 1 to 2%. And the gold value is being bumped up by 0.5. And now for 5 Draconic, added a new 5-turn egg, possible drop of 1 Force of Nature, 2 item components, and 3 Heimerdingers. 20% chance to get this inside the egg. That's actually a really high chance, let's be real. Getting 3 Heimerdingers at a 20% chance at 5 Draconics, especially when stuff like Toma Traits is a part of this game, getting 5 Draconics is actually pretty doable, I'm not saying it's going to happen every game if you try for this, but It is possible. But I wonder if there's going to be like a forcing Draconic thing like we saw in the end of set 4 where people were forcing Fortune every game. Draconic is, of course, weaker than Fortune, in my opinion at least, but it's a little more consistent and less dangerous to do. So Forgotten bonus damage and ability power per stack is being changed. It is being nerfed at 10 at 6 Forgotten and nerfed by 50 at 8 Forgotten. I never personally reached these thresholds, but I typically just stay at the 2 or 4 Forgotten, but maybe they saw that it was a little too strong. Ranger attack speed is being changed. It's being buffed at 4 and 6 Rangers. I'm glad that they're doing this because no one in their right mind has ever played 4 Rangers, and even less so for 6 Rangers. I don't even think I've ever seen that in this entire set so far. But glad that they're doing that because 2 Ranger is probably too strong right now because everyone, when they play Aphelios, and Aphelios, of course, is super strong, they just do 2 Ranger, and they never even consider going 4 Ranger because all the Ranger units, frankly, they're not that great. But I'm glad that they are buffing it, so maybe it incentivizes us to go for it. Sentinel bonus attack speed is being changed from 25, 90, and 500 to 20, 80, and 500, so nerfed to 3 and 6 Sentinel. Same with the shield. 175, 900, 2000 is being nerfed at 6 Sentinel from 900 to 800. Skirmisher bonus attack damage per second is now being increased from 3 to 4 at 3 skirmishers, 8 to 10 at 6, and 16 to 20 at 9 skirmishers. They do need a little bit of buffs. Jax is like pretty decent, but again, he's never been like the shining star just because it's really hard to play melee carries right now. Kled had the tendency to 2-shot. Even 3-star champs players who mastered the Kled comps utilized creative positioning and perfect itemization that made the comp look delicious for a nerf to Kled, as well as the Hellion trait later. So one weird thing, so they are nerfing Kled. His violent tendencies 4th auto is being changed from 200% to 150% attack damage scaling. His attack damage is being dropped by 5, and that is a little surprising because they've been saying, at least like the developers on the Riot team have been saying, that Kled was not broken. But then they nerfed him twice, plus they're going to nerf the Hellion later. So they nerfed him like in 3 different ways. Granted, this is just a 4th auto, but like this is pretty considerable, and like we'll see what the Hellion trait does later. But it is a little surprising because there was a bit of drama around this like whole Kled debacle. Just as like a brief summary, people were like toxic to developers was firing back, and everyone was just firing at each other. But like, my opinion at least, was Kled really strong? I thought it was like good, but if you're contested, it kind of sucks, right? So I don't get why they actually did follow through with the nerf. I wish they either stuck to their guns by either admitting a mistake by saying Kled is too strong and then nerfing it, or saying it's not so strong and then not nerfing it. But they kind of did like the half and half version, which I think is weak personally, where they said it wasn't strong and then they nerf it afterwards anyways. Doesn't make sense to me, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, again, we still haven't seen the Hellion nerf. I feel like players who play Kled, it's just like any reroll comp. Like, you either hit or you don't, and when you hit, it does really well, but it gets outshined by a lot of the really strong late game boards. That's literally how reroll has been in the entirety of the game. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on the matter there. Vayne attack damage 40 to 35. Oh man, dude, I've been abusing Vayne. Some of my friends have been abusing Vayne as well, because everyone's going for Kled, and that made it really easy to hit your Vayne 3. But they did nerf it, unfortunately, which in my opinion kind of sucks, because I was kind of like enjoying that a lot. Also, like in a lot of my recent videos, I've been doing bow starts, and all the Kled players started taking the bows as well. So I haven't been able to get bow start in forever because it's so contested. But I'm going to have to find a new way to play in the next patch anyways because of all the Radiant changes. But I do wish Vayne like snuck by, but somehow she didn't. Champions tier 2, equalizing Equinox's 1 and 3-star damage. Tristana gets a small compensation buff after several nerfs to Hellion comps so as not to kill it entirely. Soraka Equinox damage is being changed. It's being buffed from 175, 275, 425 to 200, 275, and 400. I guess it's getting equalized. Never mind, it's not being buffed. So 1-star Soraka stronger, 3-star Soraka weaker. I've never actually seen 3-star Soraka do well, so it is interesting that they do go ahead and do this. Tristana attack damage buffed by 5. She's probably still going to suck, especially since Hellions are being nerfed. Champions tier 4, just because he claims he doesn't need a weapon doesn't mean you shouldn't give him one. Oh, and preferably one with attack damage. Aphelios mana nerf is being changed from 150 max mana to 170. Yeah, Aphelios is pretty strong. This makes sense. How much mana does this actually affect? He needs to do 2 more autos now because you gain 10 mana per auto. Probably pretty considerable amount, especially since his ability is so like game changing because he kills like 5 units in one auto. Jack's Empowered Strike attack damage scaling is now being changed from 200, 220, and 400 to 220, 240, and 500%. This should probably put Jax on the map. Again, he was already pretty good before, so this should just solidify his state. Also, like other forecasts getting nerfed, so yeah, it should be better, right? So now the small changes. Hellion attack speed 10, 30, 80, 140 is being changed from 10, 30, 70, 125. So 6 and 8 Hellion are just touched a tiny bit. Again, these are small nerfs, but they did nerf the Kledge comp like in 3 different ways now. Nothing has been too crazy, obviously, but I wonder if it is still playable. I'm leaning towards no because there was only one player doing Kledge anyways. Like, I never actually personally saw Kledge being contested that much. I see people holding Kledges but have no intention of playing them. So I don't actually think that Kledge's going to be played in the next patch. It's unfortunate. Maybe if you get some crazy Radiant item combos, like, it's workable, but yeah, I'm not really too confident about it. Spellweaver ability power per stack is being changed from 2410 to 248. So 6 Spellweaver, it was really broken. It's really rare to get it because you need certain tomes of traits, but when you did hit it, it was really, really strong. I see Vel'Koz with no ability power items just wipe through everyone just because they have the 6 Spellweaver trait. So now onto the champion tier 1s. 1-cost rerollers are overperforming just a bit, and this is because 1-cost reroll comps are stronger the more people there are playing reroll comps. This is true. Again, this is why I loved Vayne. This is why we are going light and broad here to nerf each overperforming 1-cost just a tad. These changes may be small alone, but changes together strong. So Kalista Pierce attack damage scaling is being changed. It's being nerfed at 3-star 240% to 220. Pierce base damage is being changed at 3-star as well by 100, and then Kha'Zix 250, 350, 500 is being changed from 250, 350, and 450, and then Taste the Fear isolation damage 1500 to 1350. So obviously for Kha'Zix, his isolation damage at 3-star, it's still gonna kill everything, apart from like the super tank in the front. So this really shouldn't change that much about Kha'Zix. Kalista probably does change some damage thresholds because it's really important that her spear actually kills people, because if it does kill the first target, it goes through and hits a second one. So I feel like this nerf is more important than the second one here. Vladimir is being buffed by 50. No one cares about him. So champion tier 2, brand seer damage 600, 900, 1500 is being buffed across the board. So maybe we could see some reroll brands potentially. Soraka, they already did this one before, and Tristana, oh, they did these changes twice, so we'll just skip through that. Nocturne Umbra Blades base damage is being changed from 80, 90 to 100 to 100 flat. This should be a good Nocturne buff, because 1 and 2-star Nocturne, I'm going to be honest, guys, it's like one of the worst units in the game. Even with items, like, it is completely trash, especially without Revenant. So these are welcome changes for all Nocturne players everywhere. Nunu consume damage 450, 700, and 1750 is being nerfed at 3-star down to 1600. I feel like he eats everything anyways, so again, shouldn't change too much there because not many units have more than 1600 health. Champions tier 4, Draven is being buffed by 5. Ooh, I'm not sure about that. Draven's already like really good because people have been discovering new positioning methods for him, and they've been like perfecting his itemization, because unlike Aphelios, who's been strong the entire set, people have been perfecting Aphelios items for like months now. Draven has really only been relevant for like the past week or two, so people are just starting to figure out what's actually good on Draven, where to position him, what items to put on him, what comps to play him in. So I do feel like this buff is a little unnecessary because I feel like he's already pretty strong. Fiddlesticks mana buff 50 out of 125 and then 60 to 120, so he's getting buffed a little bit. Oh yeah, another thing with the Draven buff is that they nerfed Aphelios, so when Aphelios gets nerfed and you're going for attack damage anyways, you're already more incentivized to play Draven or Lucian, so this buff, again, doesn't make that much sense to me. Champion tier 5, please DM me your reaction VODs to 3-star Viego. Yeah, do that for me as well as the patch notes writer. Akshan Heroic Swing bonus attack speed is being changed from 70, 85 to 400 to 60, 70, and 400. So yeah, Akshan really strong in any good comp he's in, such as a Sentinel or the Ranger comp. So this is very deserved because even 1-star Akshan, I see him dominating everything. 2-star Akshan can almost win the game single-handedly. So yeah, I am all on board for this nerf. Kale attack damage is being changed from 80 to 85. All right, that's nice. This shouldn't do anything in the grand scheme of things, but it does allow people to know that Kale still exists. And Viego at 3 stars is now very powerful. If I had to guess, he just steals a whole team. So yeah, we'll see when we see it. For items, quickest silver bonus attack speed is being changed from 40% to 45. I actually love this item on a lot of different carries, especially if you don't have a trap claw. So this gives you even more incentive to go for it, especially now that you get 2 radiant items. So a lot of times you want like the pure tank item or the pure offensive item. But now with 2 radiant armories, you can afford to get one of these kind of like niche items such as like Quicksilver, a lot of the utility items, or like something like a Frozen Heart. So no bug fixes, surprisingly. Again, I guess they haven't found any bugs, which is nice. But yeah, Tactician Scouting going to be pretty fun to play around with. And again, most importantly, 2 Radiant Armories. So again, think of all your item combos and let me know down in the comments below. And also we are doing a giveaway of 200 little legend eggs. So to enter that, hit the like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below so I know how to contact you. And also check your notifications in a couple of days because I will be announcing the winners by replying to your comment on October 11th. So definitely take a look at that and I will see you all later.